The idea that there's a cost to being authentic is inauthentic. Period. I know it. B, when you're being authentic in yourself, you'll find that you have power in every situation that is relevant to the situation you find yourself in. You will have more to draw from.
Lights, camera, action. We're back for your satisfaction from Action Business Furniture Studios is where it's happening. We have a special guest star today, Val Mohney. Give it up. All right. Now taking it away is your host, John Byron.
All right. Hey, all right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, everybody here in the room, everybody watching live, audience in YouTube land. We're excited to have everybody here, and we are excited about today's topic. It's an important one, it's a good one, and it's one that we're going to get into a lot of layers of, I think. There's a lot of people in the room that I'm very excited to hear from on this topic, and I think we're going to have to just schedule our follow-up. Like, I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
We're not going to cover everything today, but we're going to get started.
I'm totally in.
Okay, we're going to scratch the surface. So, Mandy's here!
Hey, Mandy! We somehow have to make it so that she can be seen on the camera.
Yeah, so you guys that are in the background a little bit, just slide it up when we get to you, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
As per usual, we are at Action Business Furniture. We want to say a huge thank you to them for hosting us. Thank you to everybody that's in the room. We're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves. Talk about who you are quickly, mainly like your name, your business or industry. If you have a business and you want to just talk about that, if the industry is more your sole provider in that category, you can just talk about the industry and what you bring to the table. And then one big thing we like to do is highlight events that are coming up. So whether it's business related or otherwise, if you have an event that you're going to go to, an event that you're hosting, or just an event that you heard about that you're like, man, if I was going to be in town, I would be at this. You need to know about it. Bring up that event, mention it. And we are going to try to keep it quick because we've got a full room and we've got a really big topic to talk about. So Zane, I'm going to kick it off in your direction.
Yeah, glad to be here. Zane with Zebra Go. We focus on helping small businesses with their administrative support. So you can do what you went into business to do. We help handle all the boring stuff.
All right, Rob Bruder with Idic Designs, and I work with people who want to make technology work for them.
Janice Byron. I am Janice Byron's mom and Melissa's Byron mother-in-law, and I am working on something that I'm not ready yet to reveal.
Great teaser. I am Michelle. I have a business called Lotus Sage Coaching, and I'm a female empowerment sexuality coach with a focus on helping women become more confident in their bodies.
Oh, I love it. Very good.
I'm James Kettner. I own J2K Sales Pros, which basically is sales coaching, and you can run to sales pro like me. And I work in the music industry, and I have, it's one of the biggest international songwriting competitions in the world I'm a judge on. And the finalists are being judged right now. So that's August 15th. It's all revealed.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm Sheree Sauer. I own Success Without Sacrifice. We help small business owners build their businesses and their teams without burnout.
I'm Steve Hicks. I developed an innovative approach to fitness where 72% of my clients have lost 50 pounds or more and kept it off 5 years later.
Wow.
That's
Awesome.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Hi, I'm Dave Ribble from Standout Mastery. What we work on is helping you feel more comfortable in these ridiculous situations where a whole lot of people are talking.
Hi, my name is Matthew Guzman. I'm an investment advisor with New York Life. I do first-time homebuyer classes as well as retirement master classes as well. Trying to make sure people are planning for the future and not failing to plan.
Excellent. Let's jump back to Gary. Speak up, and you're looking at the camera right there. You know where it is.
He's the actor, right?
Yeah.
My name is Gary Canavello, and I am an actor and a singer, and I am investigating this group here.
We're under
making sure
investigation.
they're on the up.
I knew it.
Okay.
Oh, hi, I'm Aaliyah. I am the founder and executive director of Up and Atom, which is a nonprofit. We are a 501c3. I am currently working on Spokane Inner Peace Park, trying to bring science, imagination, play and connections with people, and also bring the outside inside with like real potted trees and plants and mixed in with some cool science. And we are having an event this Sunday at Dishman Conservancy up on the South Hill. It'll be from 9 to noon, and it's a wildlife rescue workshop. So kids will learn about what to do if they find like an injured bald eagle or a turkey or something. And then we're having Drawn to Science, which is in August at the Moran Prairie Library, and that is a painting event. So people can come out, or kids can come out and basically paint what science means to them. So we're kind of putting together science and art. And that's about it. So thanks.
Joshua, I'm a project manager, and I turn data and strategy into action.
Awesome.
My mortgage, Mandy, with Q Home Loans. I love that you're doing the first time homebuyer classes. Those are so essential. I know it feels kind of restrictive and like there's a lot of obstacles that can be in this type of market. But I have a lot of different solutions. I love to brainstorm and truly see what the obstacles might be for you so that then we provide solutions. And especially in this kind of community, we all know the extra burden of being a business owner. They don't make loans getting loans easy. So we have a lot of really dynamic solutions where we can do bank statement loans, a lot of different things where we can actually meet your needs and not put that extra burden on your back. So I'd love to brainstorm or help any way that I can.
Hi there, my name is Paz Rainbow. I own Rainbow Financial Protection, and I write policies with Globe Life Family Heritage Division that pay you cash directly if you get hurt or sick. So even if your medical bills are completely covered, this keeps a roof over your head and food on your table, keeps your kids fed, keeps your business in business. 100% of our policies come with a 100% return of premium. So there's actually no risk involved. It's a win-win situation.
Love it.
Fabulous.
Awesome.
My name is Melissa Byron, and I'm with Thrive Wellness. I'm a wellness coach, but I also coach with marriages, families, kids, just a lot of life stuff. And I'd love to connect.
Oh, I love that. And she's fabulous.
My name's Chris Angel, like the magician. I'm in the consulting space, but right now my biggest project is a national network for conscious business owners called consciousbusinesses.org. And we're just looking for partners right now around the US that are wanting to create local chapters that really bring together people who want to make the world a better place through business.
The kingdom of big data is upon us. There is no going to big data except through the scientists. What do you think AI runs on? Hopes and dreams? No, it runs on big data. And I give you living data, live analytics. I give you things that are good. People come to me and they say, Data Money Mike, I have nothing to give you but dirty data. And I take their dirty data and I wash it clean. And I give it back to them and I give them hope.
Amen.
I give them community. I give them fellowship.
Yes.
And I give them vision. I visualize and I give them forecasts too. And just when things seemed hopeless for me, we couldn't do a steam plant event, John came forth from the wilderness. And he said, upon this Action Business Furniture, I will build my talk show. And he allowed big data into his life. And it has become the #1 talk show in Spokane. Amen? Amen. Amen. Yeah. Yes. I know. It is good. John is great. He has paid for our debts. So for you, tomorrow, 6 to 10 p.m. at the Steam Plant Restaurant, it is going to be a great time, and I will see you there.
My name is Val Mohney, and I'm a realtor with Deuce Real Estate. And, when I got into real estate, I thought it was going to be a sales thing, but really, it's just making a difference with people where it really counts. So I love what I'm doing, and I'm excited about the future.
Okay. Welcome. Yeah. And we'll get a little bit more with Val. I am Jonathan Byron. I am also a realtor. In fact, we kind of connected over real estate.
Jonathan, help me.
A little bit. A lot of help along the way.
Short story, I was in a dark place, and he's one of the first people that got me going down the right road.
Oh,
Thank you.
collaboration.
Yeah.
So I do real estate, and then also, Chris, maybe we need to connect afterwards. because what you're saying resonates with me. I want to bring people together like we have in this room. There's so much, even as you guys were introducing yourselves, and this is for you guys on Facebook. I looked at the wrong thing there. You guys on Facebook and YouTube, I know almost everyone in this room and I vouch for them. And there's a few people that I haven't quite gotten to know very well yet, but reach out to these. These are real people. These are genuine people. And this is an aspect of my vision is when we come together and we're genuine and authentic together, good things happen. So all of you, thank you for being here. I want to just echo what you, like I would go back around the room and just be like, yes, you need to call Rob. Yes, you need to call Steve. And each one of you guys do amazing things. Be encouraged. Keep that up. And for those of you that don't know the folks in this room, you need to connect with them. They're great people and they're very open to be connected with. None of us are on our ivory tower pillars. We're just people here. So welcome to the show. Val, I'm just gonna slide it over to you and let you kick things off if that's all right.
All right.
I feel like
and I do like the idea of us having a conversation about what we had a conversation about.
I agree.
Well, so I could have written out like what I'm going to talk about, but I felt like it'd be more authentic, just go off the top of my head. And I also want to acknowledge that we're in a room full of people who are already completely authentic. I know most of you, I think it's fair to say quite intimately actually, and you're all already very authentic. So there's nothing here to fix. It's just opening up the conversation. I have an intention that whatever we discuss and whatever comes out of this conversation has a positive impact on your life that changes it. How that's going to happen, I have no idea, but I think together we'll all discover that, and that will be the result. You with me?
Yeah.
Right on. So I did think it would be helpful to lay out a couple of ideas that I wrote down just so we can like define what inauthenticity is and what authenticity is.
So good.
So the Merriam-Webster dictionary version of authentic as an adjective in everyday terms is being authentic means being real, genuine, and true to who you are, not pretending or performing. And at the risk of skipping ahead, I'll just say there's like a never-ending layer of onion, or no end to the layers of that onion. Like that's a constant discovery process. Being inauthentic, according to Merriam-Webster, in everyday terms, inauthentic means fake, forced, or not being yourself, saying or doing things that don't match who you really are. Has anyone ever felt that inside themselves?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to quote Chris Angel because I thought this was a great thing that he said in a longer post. This is why it's so important to be the kind of person that earns trust by sharing vulnerably, because in the moments words don't fully describe what we mean, people will feel our truth by who we're being, which I think is tightly related to what it means to be authentic. And then the last thing I wanted to lay out there, I thought this was awesome. Inauthenticity is the tax you pay for caring more about their opinion than your impact. And I feel a lot of people get hung up on there. And partly that's why I wanted to have this conversation, see what we discover. Because most of you know, for weeks and weeks and weeks, I've been meeting with lots of people and I have lots of conversations. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of people tend to argue for their limitations, or they just don't see what's available for themselves. And so we have some conversation and we uncover some layers, and lo and behold, they see things about themselves and now they have a new point of view from which to operate. And I think inauthenticity is the tax you pay for caring more about their opinion than your impact leads us to the conversation that Jonathan and I had. Do you want me to lead on that?
Go for it, yeah.
So, Jonathan, we don't need that now. I'll go back to the text. Jonathan had it something like, what is the cost of being authentic on Facebook? And
my ADHD brain spoke. Really, I'm sorry. I was gonna say vulnerability. I would think.
For anyone that didn't quite catch that, so the title of the event, when I created the title of the event, I said something about the cost of authenticity.
Yeah, right. And your answer is right. Perfect. What is the cost of being authentic? I felt that the premise of that question was entirely off base. I feel there is no cost to being authentic. The cost comes from being inauthentic. And so then we had a little texting thing, and by the way, we were loving each other, so this is not a
right. That's a good clarity though, because it could come across sharp if people don't know the context.
Yeah, no, it was exploring the topic.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to use a swear word, but have you ever heard that all roads lead to your shit?
No.
Like you can pull on a thread way out here on a tangent, and if you follow it, you're going to get long enough, you're going to get to the very heart of the matter. So all roads lead to your shit. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
So, Jonathan, so in regards to the cost of being authentic, Jonathan said, I'm seeing it as what does it cost to be real? There is a cost. The question we're exploring is it worth it? And are there limitations? His example was, I say I have an appointment whenever someone wants to schedule something with me and it conflicts with my schedule, right? People say that kind of thing. My appointment could be with myself, a nap, or the gym, my family, playing with the kids, or a client. I could say, I can't, I really need a nap, and be more authentic, but most people would agree that's just oversharing. And that got me excited because that's exactly what we're talking about here. So what I said, I want to say one more thing. I'm also not at all committed to being right in this conversation. It's not about that either.
Well said.
What I said was being authentic takes something like courage, curiosity, boldness, vulnerability, and honesty. So maybe a better question is, what does it take to be real? Anyway, that was before I got his text. So, skipping forward to, okay, so he's not being straight about just wanting to take a nap. You with me? He's being, I think, by definition, inauthentic. Like, bottom rung inauthenticity, but it's still there. So what I said was the price you're paying for being inauthentic about needing a nap is that you're robbing people of the choice to know you, support you, and or relate. Like, who doesn't identify with wanting to take a nap? So that right there is a great road into your shit, because it's like we get, in my opinion, I'll just submit a couple ideas and I'd like to open up for conversation and see what we discover. But in my opinion, we write our inauthenticity thinking some version of we're saving other people from ourselves, or we're saving ourselves from ourselves, or we don't want to come off too big, which has been a big problem for me for a long time, or whatever. Not understanding that us hiding ourselves to any degree is having an impact on the community at large, the people you're talking to. And I'm going to go right back to what I said in the text. We're robbing people of the opportunity to show up as their full self for you because you're faking it a little bit. Now they're responding to your, I don't like the word fake. I'll just stick with inauthenticity. Now you're having an inauthentic conversation all the way around. So I think one benefit of being authentic which I repeat is an onion with many, 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 many layers, is that people get to really see you and respond to you and react from their authentic space. And part of my intention with my own I feel like it's okay for me to say I'm willing to be vulnerable and I'm willing to try to exercise being authentic. And the reason I do that is because I just want to model for other people that they can do so, be fine, be okay, get better results, be more fulfilled, be more turned on, have better relationships. So that's the conversation I'm wanting to have right here. Also, one little thing as it relates to business, I've trained a lot of people on how to do sales, let's say. And they might start at the top and they're like, oh, I can't do what you do because I'm not a good salesperson. Then they'll go to get excited about the money. Oh, I can make a lot of money doing that. Holy cow. Yay. Woo. So then they go right out and they do what they think salespeople should do in order to be successful. And that's where the tears and frustration and lack of results come in. And so I've had many conversations over the years of like, nowhere in the compensation plan does it say be weird or manipulative or whatever. I don't like doing sales. Great. Don't do sales. Try being yourself first, authentically, and work from there. Once in a while, you have to make an invitation and make an arrangement for a next step, but you're doing so from being authentic. So I just want to lay that all out there, see where we're at, and see what we discover. And again, I'm not in any position to be right, God knows, about being authentic. Has anyone read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance?
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah, I feel like authenticity is one of those things. Like in that book, he can't define quality, but you know it when you see it. And authenticity, I think, is kind of similar. Like a little difficult to define, but you know when you see it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Anyway.
It's a little interesting that you bring up that book though, because for anyone who doesn't know that book, he is hiding from the people around him a very big fact about himself. And he's struggling with that quality and quantity or, value, but he's not telling them that he's been in the psychic ward and coming off of this. And so it is an interesting combination because you're right. He's trying to merge himself with that, but at the same time, realizing that he can't just tell everybody that, yeah, I'm riding around the countryside with my son and I just got out of, the being treated for psychological problems. I also going to bring up another book that relates this message to me, and that is Finite and Infinite Games by James Carse, because he talks a lot about the fact that inauthentic versus authentic is about putting the shell on and saying, I'm a salesperson. That's a role I play. And so when you put on that role, you have to do the things that people expect from a salesperson, which is why we struggle with the authentic versus inauthentic. And yes, I agree with you, Val, that there is a need to do away with that and be more transparent. In fact, that's one of the big messages James Carse talks about. But the challenge, I think, is when you are in relationship with somebody who can be authentic themselves, you talking to Jonathan, you could have that conversation and still do it in a loving way because you are being authentic with each other. But not all relationships are that way.
I agree.
And you end up having to be careful because somebody may take your authenticity as a leverage. And that's where the challenge is being authentic. I absolutely, I think, well, that last point, there is I don't remember who teaches this, but there is the concentric circles. There is our true selves, the things that we are not even going to tell our closest relationships that go on only up here. And then there are those things that we'll reveal to those we trust. And then there's our public selves and things. And it's challenging. And I think your message is important that we keep working towards being as open and authentic as we can. That's why my favorite quote is being open to change, being vulnerable, which is what James Carse calls it. Be vulnerable to changing always. There's something new going to be revealed. But at some point, I will also agree that some things I just don't blurt out because I don't know how it's going to be received. And I would rather, get to know you more before I just sit down and start telling you about how the week really went.
That is completely perfect. And I feel like you should frame why you thought there was a costume build on that.
Maybe,
Okay.
because there's a lot of ahas in the room, and I really want to hear. I know what I think. I want to hear what the rest of my brain thinks. You guys are all just projections, right?
I would be very fascinated to know when political correctness started, because that changed everyone from going to the freedom of speech that they have and the opinions that they have to, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and this and that. And that has changed our entire thought process, I think. If this is going where we're talking about authenticity, it just makes people so unauthentic. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine, thank you. It's not true most of the time. But I remember a time where you said, how you doing? They went, oh man, well, here's what's going on. Nobody cares anymore. I'm sorry, but no one does. And that's part of our society going down. And that's just my opinion. See, I'm expressing my own opinion.
There you go. There you go.
That's kind of rare nowadays.
Now, what you're saying is really good. And
hold on one second.
Yeah.
I want to start something. I just realized this because I don't remember your name.
That's okay.
And so there's only a few people that I don't remember their names, but for people that are watching, they might not remember any of our names. So when you start talking, just say your name again so that the people listening can.
Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
Your point is very valid, so I don't want to take away from that, but we would not go up to a stranger and tell them, oh my God, my child did that. We've got different levels of authenticity, and you spoke to that. Our closest friends know our shit. Really, I mean, they know us. They know what's going on every day. The people we live with, the people we care about. Then we have our acquaintances. Those are authenticity at a particular level. Then if you're in a business, you're not going to come in and be your joyful self and be like, hey, what's up? In a business, you're going to be like, hello, thank you for coming in. But it's not being inauthentic, and so I think that's where there's a difference. Is that when I look at a friend's face and they say I'm fine, I said, I know you're not. Talk to me. What's going on?
Yeah.
There's a difference there. And for women, we all say we're fine. Okay. So that's just our thing. We always say I'm fine because we feel it is a burden to put what's going on with us on someone else. And for women out there, it is not. Okay. Your friends want you to speak up. Regarding political correctness, there's a big difference between kindness and being an asshole. And I think that is why political correctness to me is kindness. I can play devil's advocate like nobody's business. I can cover all the topics, ones that I agree with, ones I don't, not a problem. I love talking gun control, even though I may have a very different perspective. I have no problem with that. But people aren't kind in how they talk anymore. There's this authoritative nature that we have to be correct and we have to get our point out. And we can't just have a civil conversation. And so there's a big difference between correctness and understanding to me versus that place where we're at now where I'm right, you're wrong. F you. So
Right.
I want to see back on the thing.
Leah, go ahead.
So as somebody who lives.
So just so we can all get in the habit, say your name.
Aaliyah, sorry. As somebody who lived inauthentic for a long time because I was in an abusive relationship at home, and I could not be who I am. I am now, because I'm not in that relationship, obviously discovering back again who I am. And I think I said this when I had coffee with Val. I've noticed you either hate me or you like me. Okay. And I think what it is that I may bring out something in you that you wish you had that I have. And that is that I don't care if I'm in a professional situation, but then again, my profession is a little different because it's around kids and families. But I am always happy. I am always cheery. I will dance in the grocery store. I'll dance everywhere I go. I don't care. I am in a good mood. I try to be happy. But also with the political correctness goes that there are social vigilantes, as I call them. And those are the people that want to stand up for all the people that they think they need to. I have PTSD. You heard me scream right now. He got me. I can't help it. It's this high startle complex and it sucks. The PTSD sucks. But like, for instance, somebody posted something about a group and the way questions were posed and whether or not that would be triggering to somebody with PTSD. And so I watched all the comments coming on this and eventually I decided to comment on it because that's not triggering. Like, I can go to a comedy show, I can go to anything raunchy and talk about stuff like that, and it is not going to turn me into a quivering ball triggered. Maybe some people that are still working through their stuff, and I get that. But what they were talking about in the context they were talking about, and then everybody that disagreed with the person that posted, that didn't like how it was going, had to comment on everybody who disagreed with him. And that was starting to bug me. And so I finally spoke up in the comments and I said, hello, hi, I'm somebody with PTSD, somebody that has been abused. And what I'm going to say about this is that I wouldn't have a problem going to something like that. And if you feel like herd mentality is keeping people from being authentic or saying something, then maybe that isn't your herd, because you can't expect everyone to conform to your opinion, because that's what it is. It's an opinion that you think you have that is being said or stated to help somebody else. You're not helping me. Like, what actually was triggering is him acting like a bully to everybody that disagreed with him. I don't like that. It starts to give me the, because I don't like aggressive behavior, especially in men. That triggers me. So you guys can all talk about anything. I don't care. I was raped. I was this and I was that. Talk about it. It won't bother me. But I can feel people and I can feel their aggression. That's something I came out of this with. I genuinely can feel people's vibe. I told Val, that's why I love you. I can feel your vibe. And if you have an aggressive tone, if you are an aggressive nature, especially as a man, it's going to turn me off. It's going to make me, start to feel uncomfortable around you. That's triggering. So yes, I'm just kind of piggybacking on what everybody says. I'm authentic 100%. And I'm at the point where I don't care what you think about me anymore. Like, you can think whatever. I'm happy. I'm having a good time. I'm dancing. I may not match. I don't care. I don't care. But I think that there are too many people wrapped up in their mind about how to speak, how to talk. We can't offend this person. We can't offend that person. The reality is, me as a colored person, me as a abused person, none of us, we're not that sensitive as you think we are. So stop acting like we're so damn sensitive. We're not. And stop, and you guys and everybody else, and I'm not talking about you, everybody needs to be authentic when it comes to that, because they're being inauthentic in my mind when they're trying to advocate for some of these things, because they're doing it for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. And it's to show, well, look at me, I'm advocating for this, and for people with PTSD or people that are abused. No, you're not really. you're trying to get people to follow your opinion or like you or whatever the case may be.
Virtue signal.
Right, thank you.
But
I don't want to, go ahead.
I think, kind of the common thread is that the only way to establish authenticity is for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's your name, sorry.
Oh, Mandy.
Thanks, guys.
And that, a lot of these things are really trying to establish authenticity either for the status quo or just things that we can't establish that for. And we have to really be very introspective when we're asking these questions. And I love the depth that you brought that of just such like a minute, just the difference between stating this and doing that. Is that dishonoring your authenticity? And then, you brought up really great points of, well, what is the level of relationship? Does that make me inauthentic if I'm not exactly the same with everyone I encounter? And I think that part of authenticity is really having a lot of personal check-ins of like what feels comfortable, what feels right, and with some people, it does not feel comfortable or right to tell them certain things. And I think that is being authentic to myself. Now, being impeccable with your word is something entirely different that I want to build all of my authenticity on. I want that to be a pillar. So, that particular question, much more than authenticity, I think brings me more to like impeccability with my word, because I think that my comfort level, as long as it's not harming someone or being distruthful, is one of the largest parts. Am I feeling like I'm squelching something to make someone else feel comfortable? Well, then that's inauthentic. Do I feel like I'm overgiving because somebody wants it from me? Well, then I'm not being authentic. So a lot of that I think is very personal check-ins. And I think a lot of it does very much have to do with, part of myself is just for me. And I love kind of the onion analogy of that it really does depend on I'm going to be authentic to myself and my beliefs. But I may present myself a little differently depending on who you are and what you've invested in me or what I feel like I can invest in you.
I don't know if I love it. I love it. And Leah reminds me of what Chris Angel said, which is it's important to be the kind of person that earns trust by sharing vulnerably, because in the moments words don't fully describe what we mean, people will feel our truth by who we're being. And I feel like you modeled that really well. And I want to go back to what Melissa said about burden. So I think Michelle, sorry. And I met you before. Let's see if I can pull it off. So one, I'm just gonna submit that if you're not present to love and a relationship, there's an inauthenticity in the way. And I mean in a business sense, I mean really in any context. Two, the whole idea of I'm going to share things here or not here, we have to acknowledge you have to be in the listening of the people that you're speaking to. So it's like there's an appropriateness that is worth paying attention. However, Michelle said something about, and probably twisting your words, is the perception that we're going to burden somebody with our authentic self, I think is in of itself an inauthentic idea. Completely, in my opinion. And what I want to do is take it a step further and try to say, if you're in the mind frame that you're going to burden with somebody with your authentic self, perhaps you have some drama or something wrapped around what you are in the process of sharing, and you might be sharing something that's inauthentic and you're just more like dumping, which is not necessarily an authentic thing to do. Drama, which half of people in the room know that I've had tons of stuff to bitch about over the years. Now I'm getting a little better. When I was bitching about all that stuff, I was fundamentally being inauthentic. I was pretending that I was not powerful enough to have my life go the way that I said I wanted to go. I was powerful enough to make my own life suck. I did that, but I was bitching about it. I was being very inauthentic. You with me so far? So I feel like when you take the layers off what being authentic means, you get that includes getting past the drama or I need another word, drama or something's been done to me that's all wrong. Oh yeah, victim mentality. Like in the world of layers on the onion, it's completely valid to get to the victim layer, but there's another layer underneath that, and that's what I'm pointing at with the authenticity. Does that make sense?
But I think in the golden age of, Matt, in the golden age of social media, there's like everybody's doing great. All right, you only see positives. The negatives are the worst negatives. Somebody passing away, an issue happening with a family. Or it's like it's hard to really be vulnerable in that aspect because you want to see people succeed and they want to see themselves succeed. But like to be vulnerable, to be authentic for a second. Last year, I really struggled with the blurring of lines between friendship and professionalism to be able to provide a valuable service. So like there was points where I was making really great friends, but my true hope was to be able to eventually gain the trust to work with them. And it wasn't a waste of time. Like they're great people. And then when they said no, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But the unfortunate thing is I wasn't able to hang out with them as much because I was dedicating time to become their friends, to be able to gain that trust. And that was very inauthentic. In having that.
Wait, say that again. So what was it? What was inauthentic?
I was being inauthentic because I was becoming their friends, but they were great. They are still great friends. But it's my goal was to gain their trust, to become a person that was trusted to work with them in the longer term.
Oh, got it.
And so I was more or less spending more time with them to gain that trust rather than just instead of beating around the bush, just going straight through the bush, basically. And it's hard because you don't want to be that person that says, hey, I would love to have that opportunity, but it's an authentic question to say, hey, I want to work with you, or I am trying to build this business, or I'm trying to do something to help as well. Because of course, like you said in the beginning, and it really struck one with me, is it's not that I was scared of the people's opinion, but at the end of the day, I didn't want their opinion of me to change just because I do one specific thing or I help in a specific way.
I want to jump to Dave and Janice and Pat pause as well. But this is like, we just made a transition because what we're talking about in the esoteric is fantastic. Like I could talk about any of you know me, let's build a campfire and sit around until 2 a.m. Like this stuff is gold, but this, Matt, what you just brought up is as business owners, as entrepreneurs, this is everything because how you make that transition from who am I and who am I authentically, and oh, by the way, I have a product to sell you. So Dave, then Janice, then pause. Let's keep it going.
I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave.
There's a kind of a term, and you've probably heard it too, but there's something called the NFL club.
No friends left.
No friends left. And people who are in multi-level immediately go to their family and their friends and their mom and their dad and their grandfather, and they try to hit them up with the new Amway thing or whatever it is. And the same thing with having friends and also having something that you feel very strongly about that you can offer. I think it's inauthentic not to make that offer.
Okay, Janice.
Right on.
Yeah, I love that. Your comment brought me back to there was a period of time I was in the banking world, and the particular institution I worked with, their goal and push to the umpteenth degree was that you sell accounts, that you market people. And in the end, I said, no, I don't want to help you. They said as help. And I'm thinking, no, you just want to sell accounts. You don't care about the people you're talking to. And I thought, I don't want to care about people, within the back of my mind being that to be good, I have to sell them account. You know, to help them, I'm going to sell them account. No, I want to help you because I can. So I ended up switching to the library world where we did it for free. But to that point, working and watching Melissa has been fascinating because she is part of the program. And they had a group that was over at the house that was all apart and they were all coaches. And Melissa would spend time, I've heard her have a conversation with somebody that was so beautiful. Tell me your story. And then they kind of wandered off and she said, no, really tell me your story. Now, she wasn't trying to sell them anything. They were already a coach. They were not under her. So she wasn't even looking to become their coach. She was being authentic in that she really wanted to know, let me get to know you. And when you start to talk with people and really want to hear their story without the agenda of, oh, let me tell you, there is a vast difference. And then there is a draw because you are really listening to them. To me, that's authentic.
Yes.
You're not pretending to listen. You're not thinking, how can I further my product? How can I do this? You are being authentic because you really care and want to know. So whether it's somebody coming into your furniture store or whether it's somebody, whatever, doesn't matter where.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm Paz. A lot of incredible perspectives in this room. This is a great discussion. So I just want to throw out that I'm really enjoying all these awesome perspectives that are all 100% valid. But I wanted to bring up something that kind of goes back to the beginning, to the definition of authenticity, which is valuing your audience's opinion over your impact. I don't think that it's necessarily one or the other. I think that the one, it's kind of a paradox, but also they kind of bleed into each other a little bit because, especially so from the perspective of sales, right? What is sales? Sales is finding a need and filling that need. So essentially sales is helping people. We want to help people. What is the best way to help people? So for example, when I introduce myself, I typically say, hi, I'm your friend. Let's start with that. I'm your friend. Also, I'm an insurance agent. Because if I say I'm an insurance agent first, I am dead to that person. I'm not going to hear what I have to say. But I genuinely want to help my clients. So sales tactics. John is saying that he has an appointment when he really wants to take a nap. But why is he saying that? Is it because he actually wants to take a nap, or is it because he wants to seem like he is busy? And people want to work with busy people because everyone else is working with them, right? So it's a tactic that is inauthentic so that you can help people in the most inauthentic way. So it brings up kind of a paradox.
Are you finished?
I have a lot more points, but right now.
He fits right in here.
Thank you. The MLM.
Yeah.
To the No Friends Club. I have just a saying that I learned that really helps me out with that is that, yes, you want to provide this service. I believe what I do is the best thing for everyone. So everyone that I love, that I trust, that I care about, I want them to know what I do and be able to make their own decisions. Because, for example, if one of my friends who I don't want to, have the burden of me trying to sell them something on our relationship, if I don't show them what I do, and then they battle cancer, and I could have paid them $100,000. I didn't do them a favor. I didn't help them. But if I take my friend hat off and put my business hat on and let them know that I'm doing that and that we're going to switch back at the end of our conversation, I have a 15-minute conversation with you. At the end of that conversation, put my friend hat back on and I'm never going to mention this to you again. If you tell me no, that's your decision. That's okay. But I did what I could. That burden is no longer on my shoulders. I don't have to feel guilty about that if I can't get you paid when you go through cancer. So the saying is that friends into clients is less valuable than clients into friends. You will always have more if you're providing an authentic service that is genuinely helpful to people. Your clients will become your friends faster than your friends will become your clients.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm.
That's
good. Point.
Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, just to be clear, I would say 99% of the time over being self-employed and a business owner for 35 some odd years, have only ever really done business with my friends first. So, I got that kind of bias. But I think, have you ever heard that context is decisive? And I think that I'm a little uncomfortable with the definition I'm going to say because I don't want to define it, but I'm going to. I think it's fair to say that it's an inauthentic thought that people don't want to contribute. I feel that when you're really in touch with what authenticity means, you'll quickly discover that everybody wants to contribute, whether they know it or not. And when I'm meeting with Mandy or you, like I did on Wednesday, or anybody, I'm listening for what is it that they want to contribute? Knowing that you want to contribute, knowing that it's in your bones and your blood that you want to contribute. So right along with that is people show up the way you listen for them. Mm-hmm. So to make a crude example, if you listen to somebody as though they're an untrustworthy thief, then that is how they're going to show up in your life. If you listen to somebody like they're a client, that's what you're going to get, a client. That's going to be the definition. So I would encourage along authentic lines to be listening for people in terms of them being authentic, contributions, just whatever's there for you in your listening of them will show up in them. Does that make sense? Is that too conceptual? Or Cherie,
No, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'll just repeat it. People are 100% going to show up the way you listen for them.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to piggyback on you, Elliot. So the way that I became a sales leader is because I was really good at sales, and I didn't have any experience for sales. I worked with kids most of the time, but I just sort of ended up in sales, and it was at the Better Business Bureau. They had this thing on the wall that said, read the script verbatim, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And they wanted all of us on the phone to literally sound like we're the Better Business Bureau. We're not going to be bubbly. We're not going to be upbeat. We're not going to be any of that. We're the Better Business Bureau. Read this verbatim. Well, I had a hard time reading that thing verbatim, and I had a hard time acting like that because that's not my personality. It's, hey, how's it going on the phone and talking. And then I would hear people in the call center going, she's not reading it verbatim. She's not doing it right. But then I was suddenly top salesperson. And then other jobs that I went in sales, top salesperson, everybody would ask me, what in the world are you doing? Why are you so good at sales? And I would, I don't know. But what I ended up finding out, and the way that I ended up leading teams and building these high performing teams, is that I didn't go into it like Val saying, as a transaction, as I wanted to sell. I went into it bubbly, upbeat most of the time, matching the tone of whoever I'm talking to. If I was talking to a contractor and they were like, hey, I'm really busy, I would cut straight to the point. And I would kind of match that. But I'm still being authentic to myself because that is how I am. I'm willing to respect you and you're busy and I will cut to the chase. But then there were people who I would have longer conversations with. And that's how it started. It didn't start as me trying to sell them. It started as me just being me, because that's who I am.
Question.
Yeah.
Did you know the script? Did you memorize that script?
I knew the script.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and we had it, and it was there for you to read too. But I did not read it verbatim.
That sign that says that read it verbatim, that's for people that don't know the script.
Right.
Read it
They
verbatim so
really
you know
wanted
it.
you to
You
read it.
internalize it
Yeah.
and then you personalize it. And that's where your sales
That's
flows
how
when
it
you become
should
a
be.
person.
Exactly. They wanted you to read it their way only, and I mixed up the words a little bit, not to like fabricate what I'm saying, but to fit my personality, because that was not my personality. And when I read it verbatim, I sounded like a used car salesperson. And I was like, that is not me. I'm not going to talk like that. But I like to get on the phone or talk to people in person. And the first thing that most people will say when they meet me is that they trust me, that I'm authentic and genuine, and then that's why they end up doing business with me. It's not because I go into it thinking, oh God, I'm going to sell you. I'm just going to push you on. I would be honest, if something didn't seem to fit their need, I was very upfront about it. I would say, this might not work out for you, actually. We don't have the coverage in your area, or whatever. And they respected that. And then when they moved or did something else, they would come back to me. So I just wanted to kind of, I'm done. Sorry.
I was gonna say, sorry.
Go ahead, Zane.
Go.
Yeah, so this whole week, Zane here, kind of looking forward to this conversation with Val, and it's been brought back to it in the comments is, okay, be authentic, right? And I love, when we're authentic, we can help people to become authentic. But because we're so used to not being authentic, a lot of us have lost who we are. Who are we authentically? Who do we want to be? And so I think that's the other thing is by being authentic and opening people up, it allows them that permission to find out who they authentically are. And that's the bigger part of it is in that authenticity, we're just opening the gateway for everyone.
That's right.
Yes.
Like that a lot.
I mean, essentially, I was just gonna say self-awareness. I think in order to be truly authentic, you have to have really keen self-awareness, even to the question of like, what's the root of telling people it's an appointment and not a nap? Is it because you want to look busy, or the guilt of looking lazy, or like, why do we make the decisions that we make? Why do we feel like we can't open up and be vulnerable to somebody? Why do we feel like we can't be, or we have to be PC, right? Like, to me, it all comes down to the root. And it's interesting, with the appointment, when you say appointment, because when I'm working with clients, especially women who are people pleasers and they feel like they have nothing left to give, and the first thing we talk about is boundaries. You don't have to tell anybody why or what you're doing. A no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And so, but it's the why are you doing it? Is it authentically because it's no, and this time is for myself, and that's okay, and I don't have to explain that to anybody? Or are you doing it because you don't want people to really know what you're doing? You don't want them to see you as lazy, or, those kinds. So to me, that's what authenticity is about. And I feel like if you cannot be authentic, if you are not self-aware of who you are and your beliefs, and, and it's a discovery, it's ever changing. And
I just want to say that individuality is not authenticity. They are different things. Like your individuality and your identity does contribute to being able to be authentic, but they are not the same thing.
Well, that's a whole.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up here in a second, James.
So, okay, doing business in Hollywood, which I have since I was 19, you think that going out there and telling everybody your feelings and doing all that is going to be great and that you're going to get buddies, you're going to find friends? No, man. Like that's not business. When you're handling business at the highest level, if you tell me all your faults and all your problems and all your issues, I'm looking at liabilities through you. And I'm looking at, oh, wow, I'm going to stay away from that because, man, that's something that they need to still work out that before they even come to the table to do business with me. I went to a show that was on TV and it had Backstreet Boys and a lot of famous people. And I showed up there, and I have a very famous father, and I have a very big name in music myself. And I showed up just in street clothes, and people stopped me when I was walking backstage because I had full access. And they stopped me and they're like, you need to go back, because I didn't have jewelry on or Rolexes or anything like that. And all I had to do was say who I am and or even who my father is, and they would be apologizing. So inauthenticity, or however you want to say it, I feel like it is good to be that, but I think we're so worried about being authentic that we're missing. It's still business. It's not personal. You should bring personal into it, and you should have friends, and you get those that way. But there's certain people that separate that, and you have to understand that to be able to grow your business. Because if you just want to be buddies with everybody, you're going to realize that your business is going to stay strong, in my opinion.
Yeah, right on.
The difference between being authentic, though, and just and dumping your personal stuff.
And that might be part of the consequence, the cost of being authentic, is that sometimes you don't get some of those opportunities. But if we do kind of project to the world that you're trying to create, where everybody is so authentic and you believe that you attract what belongs to you, then clearly those types of people that have those liabilities don't truly belong together. And even if they're inauthentic, to make it appear that it is for long enough to find out that it truly wasn't. So if we all do appear authentic, how much greater results would we get because we truly know what is meant to be and what's not? So there is the cost because you won't get some of the opportunities. There is a cost.
Right.
But if we project to the future, what's the gain?
Right. Well, let's see if I can do all this all at once in 2 seconds.
And time.
It has to do with what these what's your name? I forgot.
James.
James and Aaliyah said. Yeah, I mean, there's professional circumstances or whatever, but my personal point of view is that there's not a business life and a life. You have a life, and the way you express yourself is an expression of your life, be it in business or whatever. And I would say broadly, and I mean this supportively, not critically like it might sound, that we got to like the first layer of inauthentic conversation here. But if you're like me, I mean, I didn't even know how messed up I was until I met Cherie. If you're like, well, I said so on Facebook. If
being authentic,
that works itself out to a compliment.
I'm just gonna say blankly in the interest of time, if you're in any kind of life has done me wrong mode or victim mode or this shouldn't have happened to me when I was a child or whatever, the next layer of inauthenticity is uncovering what that, like, there's something inauthentic that would drive you to dump. And that's where ultimately I would invite you to all explore and get to. And then, in my opinion, it answers what James is talking about. Because when you get to that other layer of how I'm being inauthentic and you discover your authenticity, I suggest zero cost of being authentic. That the idea that there's a cost of being authentic is inauthentic. Period. I know it. B, when you're being authentic in yourself, you'll find that you have power in every situation that is relevant to the situation you find yourself in. You will have more to draw from. Since I met Cherie and Chris and John and Robert and Dave and Mandy for sure, it's like you've all watched me progress. When I first met Cherie and realized I was totally burned out for money that's paper, I felt like a dumb person. Like, why do I make such dumb choices? Why do I do that to myself? I don't even trust myself to make a smart choice. But I got on the other road, and I tell you, you've seen it on Facebook the last few weeks. I'm like, oh, I do know stuff. I have intelligence. So I feel like I've taken a stride towards being authentic, and now I've got more intelligence, which means if I'm in a business situation, I can bring more power to it. If I'm in a so-called personal situation, I just think it's all personal. But if I'm in, you know what I'm trying to say. So I just encourage you to keep going down the road of peeling back the layers of what authenticity can bring you and the power and possibility they can put on your plate. So
awesome.
I just want to say really quick, I know we're done, but the fact that you guys are even here willing to have this kind of conversation is no accident. Like, I acknowledge you for having the interest and courage to even like look at something. So like that. So, way to go. Thank you very much.
Okay, I want to do 3 quick things before Mike wraps us up. First of all, I just want to, again, thank you all for all of the different insights. And I saw a lot of like thoughts and ideas. We definitely have to have a part 2 for this. The one thing that I heard through all of this kind of for me resonated as this is almost 2 different hemispheres. We're right-brained and left-brained. There is this concept of authenticity to myself. And I can lose myself in a number of ways and be so focused and chasing one thing or another that I don't even know where I end and where I begin and so on and so forth. And then there's this authenticity to the people in my life. And so I can be so selfishly focused or whatever you want to say that I don't show up authentically. I have an ulterior motive. I got to get a sale, so I'm going to pretend to like you. John Prine says all my friends turn out to be insurance salesmen. Like that, like that. There's just sorry, man. John Prine said it, not me. Sorry. So there's on the one side, like, don't lose yourself. Like, take the time. A few people said this. Take the time to find who you are, and even take a step back from the circumstances, the title you wear, the role you're in, and discover who you are. That's important. And then also evaluate, like, am I just pretending to be something for all of you people, hoping that you'll buy my product? Or do I really genuinely care? Pat, Paz, you said it really well. Like, I genuinely care about you. So I am going to take my friend hat off, put my business hat on, and have a business conversation with you. Which leads me to a tool that many of you, when you were talking, a tool that I recently heard. Start the conversation with your intention. Hi, Val. It's nice to meet you. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you, and I want to explain what I do, what I offer, and see if we would be a good fit. It sets the stage. This is a business conversation, and we might spend the whole hour talking about personal stuff. Paz, you actually, I want to have you teach a master class, because our conversation, you handled it so well. I was so impressed. Lead with that, and then it doesn't take them off guard when you spend all this time and then at the end of it you say, oh, by the way, you want to buy a house? like you did all of that just so you could try to get on my good side.
Trade me.
Yeah,
Indeed.
exactly.
Indeed. So there's a ton. We'll have to have part 2 of this. Everybody, thank you for being here. Second of all, I want to thank Action Business Furniture. We're sitting in their back room. They host us. Couldn't do this without them. If you need business furniture, get in here quick, because they're about to have a really big project. They're like outfitting an entire school district with furniture, so they might just shut down for a few weeks. So if you need a desk or a chair, come on down, get that before they hit that busy season. And then Dave Ribble is our guest presenter next week.
Okay, yay! Let's do it.
So we'll talk topics, we'll talk all kinds of things, but it's going to be a good one. Val, that was like, when I envisioned this whole thing, what just happened is what I've pictured from the beginning. Your capability of presenting and being confident, and then also allowing this conversation to ferment and breathe and then become one. Well done. I appreciate having you. This was awesome.
Thank you.
You guys learned something? I think you did. And that's called value. And because of that, you should like this video. Remember that sharing is greater than or equal to caring. Subscribing is what winners do, but smashing the bell, that's what legends do. Be sure to hook up Val with some page ranking. Check out his link in the video description below, and we will see you all next week. Bye!